Welcome to video 5 of your type 2 diabetes course for comfort eaters. This video is all about you helping to find your edge. So this is about understanding what we call the simplest 3-2-1 method, and this is the way that's going to help you to make small changes in your life which help you reach your goal. Just to put this in context, the balance method is a holistic method that's all about making you happier in your life. That's your mind, your body and your food. What we're working on at the moment is this first section, which is self-motivation. That's what we're trying to work on, and we're actually working on optimizing your brain, getting it to use your brain power in the right way, changing some of those limiting beliefs, changing some of those perspectives, and trying to get a small change in your lifestyle that gives you a big feeling of happiness. So what is this simple as 3-2-1 method? Well, it's about intuitive weight control. That's what it's about. It's about learning to adapt what you eat or adapt your lifestyle and your food to get what you want. And it's made up of three kind of main sections. The first one is learning 3 new elements. So these are 3 things that you need to learn that will help you look at the world in a slightly different way, and especially the world of food and your body and what to put in it. You're then going to focus on achieving 2 outcomes. Now, those outcomes are really important, and to do all of this you're just going to use one method, and the method is really simple. Now, the whole system, the whole of Balanced, has hundreds of resets that are sat around it, and these are tools that you can use. You can pull the tools you want to use, the tools you don't use, that help you to make adjustments when things go wrong or when you know something's coming. Let me give you an example. If the night before I've stuffed my face, eating pizza, sweets, whatever, I've just gone mad, then one of the resets is in the morning you wait until you're hungry to eat. Now that probably is you'll miss your breakfast and you wait till lunchtime. Now just doing that one action, so if you've eaten tons of food the night before, over the night time your blood sugars will have been going mad. Normally they drop down, that's when fat burn happens. So you'll have been like going mad overnight. Don't eat any breakfast, because then you can actually enter into a fast and actually take away some of that storage that probably will have happened. So that's just an example of one of the resets, but there's resets for everything. And it's a growing list as well. So in terms of those 3 elements you're going to learn, we're going to understand about the blood sugar hunger. That's one of the most important pieces in the equation, because until you calibrate your body, until you start listening to that, you can't actually lose weight intuitively. That's why we have to resort to calorie counting, which is obviously loses the will to live. The next important point is the willpower battery. This is a practical way of overcoming a lack of willpower. And the third item is understanding how your body works from a carbohydrate point of view. Now, the 2 outcomes we're going to focus on are reducing the chance of fat storage in the day and increasing the chance of fat burning at night. These 2 things together equal a strategy that is both flexible and makes it feel a bit effortless. And the whole way we're going to apply this idea, all of these ideas are going to come together in just one method, one really simple method. So let's get in there and think about the blood sugar hunger. As with all the videos, I'm not stopping to read over every piece. If you want to read it, just pause the video. So the thing about blood sugar hunger is, what I'm talking about is the actual body's need for fuel. And the way I can describe it is that while I was tuning into my hunger, tuning into your true hunger is one of the most important parts of the system. When I was doing that, I started to feel a little signal from the bottom of my tummy. And I'll talk about the different types of hunger in another video, but the true hunger is right at the bottom of your tummy, and it takes time to listen and tune into it. But this blood sugar hunger is a signal from the body that I'm starting to actually need some more energy, some more glucose. It's not easy to feel, it takes a while to tune into. It's about you calibrating yourself. But if you can do that, you ground your body, you calibrate it, and that's when you're starting to tune into your edge. Now, the next element that I want to talk about is your willpower battery. So lots of times my willpower, I haven't got any. Now, the interesting thing is, if I'm able to take a step forward in a positive way, so let's say I'm able to, I don't know, eat a lunch that I know is roughly healthy. Once I've done that, actually at the end of that lunch, and especially if I've done that because I've waited till I was hungry to eat, I will actually have that kind of glow of pride in that I've done the right thing. Now that in itself generates some willpower. That means that I want to carry on going. So the willpower battery is a concept that if you can pick yourself back up again and make another right decision, that in itself will help you to keep making more decisions. And the way to do that is by using planning. So, in a traditional diet, 24/7 you have to resist. It's about resisting. You can resist for an hour and then you've got 1 second and you're missing resist and you eat all the food. Well, this is about saying if you use planning to help you to, for example, plan your breakfasts. I have a big pot of porridge mix. It's got semi-skim milk powder, it's got porridge oats in, it's got some raisins and nuts. I use a scoop. Within about, 2 minutes from coming to the cupboard, I have got lovely delicious porridge ready to eat. Now when I make that big pot, I do that on a Sunday, I can be eating a Mars bar, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, but I'm saving up willpower, because when it comes to the morning and I'm hungry, if I can grab that pot because it's convenient and I eat that porridge, that is willpower that I've saved up from the Sunday. So the willpower battery is all about using planning instead of having to resist food all the time. And as soon as you start tapping into that planning, you'll just naturally start going from one planned event to another. And it's not about having every meal planned out or something boring like that. It's completely the opposite. It's just kind of smart planning. Everything from using yesterday's dinner, putting 2 extra portions in and bringing them for lunch, to kind of having a kind of tapas lunch that I'll also talk about in another video. The third concept, which is probably one of the most important, is understanding the diabetes drip. So modern food, as we've talked about, is very high in calories. The food that I'm talking about particularly is the carbohydrate rich food. When it's stripped of its fibre, it is really, really quick to digest. The way to think of it is it's almost like when you're on a 2-3 hour kind of exercise, you probably by the second hour you actually need some more energy, and the energy you need to take at that point is very pre-digested. So you don't want it to go into your stomach and wait an hour to get into your muscles, you want it to go straight in. That is the kind of food that modern food is. It's been designed to be super quickly absorbed. That's not fair. It's not been designed that way, but that is the effect of making it ultra processed. It is rapidly digestible. So understanding that your body only has a limited amount of storage for that very high power glucose. There's about 500 calories in your liver. And so if you eat 1,000 calories of pizza, then 500 calories can go into your liver. Now the rest of it, assuming it's all carbs, I know it isn't, but then would have to be stored somewhere. Now it can't be stored in your blood, it would have to go as fat. And this is what's kind of happening. So understanding your diabetes drip, that's the reason why at any one sitting we reduce the amount of carbs we're eating, especially it's mainly the refined, rapidly digestible carbs. Obviously, things like vegetables are all made out of carbs as well, but we love them because they're locked in fibre and they're slow digesting. So those are the 3 elements that we need to kind of learn about and keep in the back of my mind. Now, the 2 outcomes we're looking to optimize are basically the ability to reduce fat storage and increase fat burn. So the reducing fat storage is about when we eat slightly smaller portions, and again focusing on the carbohydrates here, what we're doing is trying to limit the amount of carbohydrates we eat so that there's no chance of us overflowing the 500 calories. That's the other reason why we wait until we're a little bit hungry to eat, because at that point we know maybe the last lot of carbohydrates has been able to burn down enough. So that reducing fat storage throughout the day is all about maintaining smaller meals with less carb load. Now, the increasing the chance of fat burn is really important. Fat burning feels like it happens in the day. When you're walking around miserably hungry in a diet, you think, oh, fat burn's happening now. It actually happens at night, really, because it's about a long period of not eating where your body then has to dip into the fat. So we're trying to optimize that, not by having miserable long periods of intermittent fasting like 16-8, but actually going more for a kind of like a 12-12 or a 13-11. So what we're trying to do is eat our evening meal a little bit earlier, delay our breakfast a tiny bit, and just that, along with eating a final meal that's a little bit smaller, if we've managed to eat healthily in the day, when we're hungry, relatively healthily, you will find that if you manage that 4 or 5 days out of the week, you'll actually lose some weight. And this is a really exciting prospect, because when you combine these two strategies, again, really simply, with a really simple system, that is when you realize that actually you can achieve your goals without having to sacrifice your lifestyle and without having to think you have to be a dieting robot. And this all comes down to just one method, and this method is basically understanding that our hunger is broken. So when our bodies tell us, before I started to apply this system, when my body told me they were hungry, it wasn't real hunger. Actually, the hunger I was feeling were things like my saliva. I used to feel anxiety hunger, that's kind of up here. Then there's clock hunger. This is the one that tricks me even now, 4 years in, it still tricks me, and that's around my chest level. And the clock hunger is just your body saying it's 8 o'clock, it's food time, it's 12 o'clock, it's lunchtime, it's 6 o'clock, it's dinner time. That's just habit. If you've eaten tons of food the night before, you're still going to get that hunger. And that's one of the big problems, that our bodies are being tricked by this food, and the hunger we're trying to tap into is this true hunger right at the bottom. And the reason we're tapping into it is that when we look at what I call the 24-hour fuel clock, so we're looking at a complete day here. It starts at the top with midnight, so come down on the right hand side. As you come down in the middle of the night, you wake up in the morning and you're hungry, so the first thing you do is you eat. That's the end of your first micro fasting period. You've woken up, you're hungry, and you eat. Now after eating that first meal, what happens then is your body is satisfied, your hunger goes away, you go back to being logical, you're not suddenly going to stuff your face, you're like, I'm happy, I'm content. So then you wait until maybe mid-morning, depending on your metabolism and your lifestyle, you might be hungry mid-morning, you might have to wait until lunch, but let's say it's mid-morning, you get a little hunger pang, and maybe then you'll have like an apple, or some kind of small snack, just to put you on until lunchtime, because the goal is that the next time you're hungry is 12 o'clock lunchtime. So this happens all throughout the day, and then at the end of the day you have your normal meal at a normal time, slightly smaller portion, and then you stop eating. And the idea is that at that point then your fasting period starts. So already you're bringing, if you had a late night snack at 10, then that is cutting short your fasting period, and meaning that you won't get to the point where you actually reach fat burn. So when we have an earlier meal, what we're doing is we're maximising the chance of getting to that point in the night where the padlock unlocks and suddenly we're in fat burn. That green period there is for a normal person that has a normal life that isn't counting every calorie. That happens if you can create this system of eating when you're hungry. So to sum up this, the system is all about intuitive eating. You just have to learn 3 concepts. You focus on the 2 outcomes, and you just use one method to do it. And this is the end of the 5th video. The next one, video 6, just search for T2D_06. That is actually explaining exactly how you microfast. See you then.